In previous videos, I've talked about real estate agents behaving badly. This time, it's me that was behaving badly, and I'm going to tell you what discipline I faced. Hey there, and welcome back to Bald Prairie Real Estate. My name is Matthew Pfeifer, real estate agent in Regina, Saskatchewan. That's my trusted assistant, 𝗲𝗲𝗶𝗳𝗲𝗏. And this video, I want to show you what happens when somebody files an official complaint against a real estate agent, like what recently happened to me and what discipline I faced. But of course, we had to start off with another one of my terrible bad dad jokes. Did you hear recently at the local school there was a kidnapping? Don't worry, he woke up. If you have a terrible joke I can use in a future episode, put it in the comments below. You should have seen the surprise on my face when I'm scrolling my emails one day. All of a sudden I realize I've got an official complaint. I have no idea what I've done, but a buyer has complained on me and my actions and professionalism. Originally, when I proposed this video, a viewer gave me some really good feedback saying, don't just make a video about complaining about somebody making a complaint about you. So I went back and I retooled my whole idea around the video to focus on instead the process of an official complaint against a real estate agent and how they face discipline for acting unprofessional. So thank you very much to the viewer for that feedback. Do you know what phase one of buying a house is? Well, of course, if you're in Regina, you'll be sitting down and chatting with me. But if you're somewhere else in Canada, don't worry, I can still help you out. I've got a fantastic network of agents across the entire country. In the description of this video, there's a link to my calendar where you can book me in for a consultation. I'll learn about what you're looking for and then get you set up with the perfect agent. Now, I'm going to frame this around how the process works in Saskatchewan, but every province follows a fairly similar format. So step one is when somebody files that complaint, every provincial regulator will have a place online where you can do so. And if you feel a real estate agent has been acting unprofessionally, the only way that they're held accountable is by you filing that complaint. So step one, the complaint is filed. All provincial regulators have a mandate that they will investigate all complaints made against real estate agents. They will have you fill out that form, provide your version of events. Then it goes to the real estate agent and their managing broker for them to file a response with their version of events before going on to step two. I'm under no illusion that there are bad actors in the real estate industry, and the only way to hold them accountable is filing these complaints. I want them out of the industry as much as you do. Once all the information has been gathered, then the investigation moves to step two. That is where the investigating committee goes through the information and makes the determination. Is this complaint valid, or has the real estate agent potentially contravened either the Real Estate Act or broken their ethics, acted unprofessionally, and a formal hearing is needed? Step three is that formal hearing, and as a real estate agent, if you've gotten to this point, most likely you're going to be facing disciplinary action. The question becomes, how much trouble are you in at that point?
Posit goodbye.
Not
Put your
true.
hand down. Put
Not true.
your hand. Throw him out.
She let him.
Throw him out.
She
out.
let him drive
he goes
it.
Out.
She let him drive it. She knew he was going to drive
He goes
it.
out.
I'm going out, but it's all
Good.
wrong.
Once that hearing has been held and if there has been disciplinary action for that real estate agent, all of that is published online. So if you want to look up a specific real estate agent, you can go to the provincial regulator, look them up by name, and see if they've ever faced any discipline previously and what they did. As an example for step one, let's look at the complaint filed against me. So the buyer said that I colluded with another real estate agent to cover up that agent's mistakes. This was their buyer's agent on a listing that I had for sale. We covered this up by manufacturing an offer to prevent them from buying that house. The Saskatchewan Real Estate Commission is then asking me to explain my version of events and provide supporting documentation for it. I let them know in a written statement that I had only had a handful of interactions with this buyer via email when they reached out to me to inquire about my listing. I provided them some information about the property and asked them if they had any further questions. They did let me know at that time that they were represented by another real estate agent. So I said all questions should be directed through that agent, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that they had about the property. So besides a couple of emails, that's the only interaction I had with this buyer. And then with their agent, I had one text message when they reached out to me asking if the property was going to be a firm sale by the end of the day, to which I responded it was. I refuted their claim that I manufactured an offer by providing documentation showing that prior to that person even reaching out to me in the first place, the property was conditionally sold and actually home inspections had already been completed. I felt I'd done nothing wrong and acted appropriately, but I have to wait for the Real Estate Commission to finish an investigation to determine what happens here. So that's how we get to step two. Once everything has been submitted, there's sometimes some back and forth to clarify any questions the investigating team may have. I felt I had acted professionally. My professionalism integrity is extremely important to me in the way I conduct my business. I felt I'd done nothing wrong in this situation, but the investigation team could potentially see it differently, and I could be in for a hearing and face discipline. If the investigation committee determines that a formal hearing is required, the discipline that I could face is a fine, required education, a suspension of my license for a period of time, or having my license revoked entirely. This also would not absolve me of any legal action that this buyer wanted to take against me. I sat for basically a month wondering if the next email that came on my phone was going to be from the Real Estate Commission asking me to come to a hearing. Then the day finally arrived where I got the email from the Saskatchewan Real Estate Commission. And I'm going to quickly read through that email for you and explain things. First off, no professional misconduct warranting disciplinary action. They believe you misled them regarding the availability of the property. You appropriately handled your brief communications with the complainant and advised them that you would need to correspond with their agent once you discovered they were represented. You provided all the transaction documents for the sale of the property which support and confirm that property was conditionally sold when the complainant reached out to you. Despite the complainant claims that you and the other agent worked together to prevent them from purchasing the property, there is no evidence whatsoever to support this claim. The only correspondence that occurred between you and the agent regarding the property was an inquiry from the agent asking if you believe the deal will go firm, which you replied you were expecting it would. There is nothing to support the claim that you acted inappropriately, unprofessionally in your brief dealing with the complainant, and nothing to support the claim that you actively worked to prevent them from purchasing the property. For these reasons, the complaint is dismissed. What a sigh of relief it was to have the entire thing thrown out, essentially saying it was entirely baseless. I felt through the entire process I had acted with the professionalism and integrity that should be expected of the real estate industry, but you never know, and it is something that makes you awfully nervous. This person was even threatening legal action should they not feel satisfied with the results of the investigation. This is actually the second time I've had a complaint filed against me in my 13-year career. The previous one was also thrown out immediately, and they actually mentioned in there that I went above and beyond the expectations of a real estate agent to try to solve the problem that the buyer had. I also understand that this process isn't perfect and that there is a lot of issues where people do not trust the professionalism and integrity of real estate agents. So I'm curious, what do you think could and should be done to improve that? Let me know in the comments below. One of my big focuses in 2025 for Bald Prairie Real Estate is providing you more education. So if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, again, let me know in the comments below. Here's a playlist for first-time homebuyers so you can get up to speed on what you need to know about buying a house in Canada. As always,